Welcome to Indie Business Lifestyle, the podcast of the Indie Business Network. I'm your host, Donna Maria, and this is the show for creative artisan entrepreneurs and product makers who want to build your best business and live your best life without sacrificing either. Join me for conversations with founders who are making meaningful products, building unique brands, and proving that success does not have to look like endless hustle, mass production, or someone else's definition of achievement. We'll talk about the branding, marketing, leadership, and sales strategies you need to lead a business that supports your values, your family, your legacy, and your vision for a fulfilling life. Whether you're pouring candles, blending teas, making jewelry, or building a bath and body brand, you'll discover ideas, encouragement, and community to help you grow a business and a lifestyle that are profitable and personally rewarding. Subscribe now so you never miss an episode. And visit our website at indiebusinessnetwork.com to learn more about our community of makers and product entrepreneurs building successful businesses and meaningful lives on their own terms. Now join me for this episode's powerful and informative conversation. Hello, Roberta Perry from Scrubz Body in New York. Welcome to Indie Business Lifestyle.
Yay, I'm happy to be here as always.
Well, let's let everybody know up front, Roberta, that we've known each other for a million years, like maybe 20, maybe more than that, at least virtually. And then we've also met in person. So we go back a long ways, both personally and business-wise. So we are going to share with you.
And we jumped out of a plane together.
We did. Okay.
Don't forget that.
Okay. Yes. All right. So this is so great. Okay. So we're talking about business and we're talking about lifestyle. And Roberta and I are a perfect example, I think, an illustration of the beauty of life when you have your business and your business friends, and then you also do fun things with them, like jump out of airplanes. Okay. But before we get to all that, let's get started with Scrubz Body. What is it? How did you start it? Tell us a little bit about the history of your business.
So, thank you. So happy to be here. Like I said, 20 years plus. I started in my house here, in my kitchen, my dining room, moved into, I don't know if you get now the door shut, I say into the garage, which I renovated, and I was there for 5 years. Finally realized that I needed a bigger space, moved into a smaller store, got a bigger store, and I've been in the place I'm in now for 8.5 years. So we make body scrubs, body lotions, body oils, like everything that was just helping my skin. That's kind of my brand story, is that I was Goldilocks and I was searching out products that, were making me feel special and helping my skin at the same time. And it just, this one was good, but that one wasn't great, and this one was better, and this one, something wrong with that. And it was like, I'll make it myself. And it was just became this sort of like Goldilocks. I'll put a little of this and a little of that. And my late sister, Michelle, had some kind of sales and retail background. And she's like, you could sell this. And why don't we do some house parties? And it just, when I think back now to the memories from 20 years ago, I'm actually working on like a blog post of key memories from 20 years. Just standing there, demoing at people's in their houses and at little mini holiday boutiques, and hours of the schlep. But it was eking and slowly. And when I met you back in the day, you're like, and don't forget to get their emails. And don't forget to get their emails. And so like who was, marketing? What was that? I knew nothing from this stuff. I just knew that I was proud of the product that I had, that I was proud of the fact that I was teaching people that it was okay to take care of themselves. And then I was sort of collecting their information, even just a little bit. And it sort of built. And then weird stories. One of the stories is meeting some owner of a chain of salons at 9 a.m. in Las Vegas. And I recognized him from his photo, and I'm like, oh, you are so-and-so. And, I'm like, could I sell in your stores? And he's like, oh, call Samantha, blah, blah. Okay, great. And then we did a fundraiser and raised money for a breast cancer organization.
Yeah,
story was picked up. And then the manager of a chain of stores, it happened to be the sister of the woman who wrote the article. Oh, I see you do this body scrub, and, why don't you come and meet me? And I was like a child. I was literally like, hamana. And she said to me, and I'll never forget this as long as I live, she goes, because I was like apologizing that I wasn't very business professional. She's like, I love it. She says, reps sit there and they're blank. And she says, they barely, like, you could tell they didn't use their product. She said, I could tell not only do you use it, but you love it. Like, and it was like,
Well, and
and
that's
so,
what I want to talk about too, because what so much wrapped in with what you just said by way of example, not the least of which is um, how things, some of it's organic, like some of it's not planned, some of it is just
correct.
showing up. But when
Yes.
you were starting your business, Roberta, tell us a little bit about the lifestyle issues you considered because your children were a lot younger, maybe even still in the
Yes.
home. So when you started your business, were you thinking, okay, I want to have a business, but this has to really fit my life? And if so, how did you do that analysis in your head?
So exactly what you just said. My kids, all three of them were still living at home, and I really had no choice except to wrap it around their lives because sports and stuff like that, which I'm sure you know of, and so because I also was in the garage and I was sitting in this space doing sort of the business aspect of it and then walking in there doing the manufacturing, I could do it after dinner. I could do it after they went to bed. I could do it right after on the school bus and sort of cater it amongst the hours that I needed to be mom, as well as being, there for my head. There were many hours, and I remember my kid one time saying, oh, it's good to see you and not the back of your head. And it made me
Yeah,
really pause.
yeah.
And that was when I was like, okay, so I need to refigure this a little. But I also do recognize the fact that in the beginning of starting a business, I guess the joke is that I never quite said, oh, hi, guys, I'm starting a business. It just kind of found me. I call myself the accidental entrepreneur, that I was going to do it as a hobby with my sister. And it just kind of took on a life of its own. And, then of course,
So,
I had the lawyer brother-in-law saying, you have to incorporate. And, the husband CPA going, okay, we have to do it properly. And all of a sudden it was a business. It wasn't just a hobby. So I kept saying, well, okay, if it's a business, I need to put in those times, those hours. But it did not stop me from going to anything that my kid had involved in. It
yeah,
did not stop
yeah.
me from going on any vacation that we may have had planned. Because
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, you said it so many years ago, is building your business around your lifestyle
Yes,
and not the other way around.
yes,
And I
yes.
always, always, always took that to heart.
Well, and it's what you've done. And so the story about the back of your head, like I have children as well, and I remember that very, very vividly. A pang of guilt, a little bit of a pang of guilt, but then also because it was a lifestyle business and still is, I could teach them. Like
Yeah.
you see the back of my head, but if you didn't see the back of my head, it would be working somewhere else where I'm not with you. And I
Right.
can't stop what I'm doing and run your lunch up the street because you forgot it for the millionth time.
Right.
That's kind of what you're describing is that availability to your family, your personal life, and then creating a business that fits that and allows you to shift when you need to shift. Because it sounds like you revamped things over the years to accommodate your life, right?
Yes, very much so. Yeah. And the older
So,
they got and the more they were involved with their friends in school, etc.,
yeah,
I was able to do, I would drive up and down the coastline doing demonstrations at Whole Foods or things like that, but I would do it during the day, the occasional Saturday. But, if they wanted a demo, I'm like, my weekends was like that was kind of always it for me. I did work a lot of Saturdays, but Sundays were my day with my family, no matter what.
yeah. So you
And in
had a
retail,
plan, like
it's
you knew what
right.
you wanted your life to look like, and you started a business that accommodated that, and then you flexed as you went to make the
Yes,
changes that had to be
yes,
made.
yes, that's
That
exactly
is,
right.
listen, I just don't know if there's a better way to live. Like no shade at all on a full-time job because well, and I'm a shift worker now. Like I work a job outside of my business. So I get it. I understand some of those challenges, um but I do it because it fits my lifestyle, not because it just I need to do it. I want to work and I want to do it in a way that fits my life. So if an opportunity comes along, I'm going to take it. And it did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we do as entrepreneurs, as small business owners. But when tell us a little bit about the thought process that you go to. Okay, so an opportunity comes your way, and it looks really great. But if it conflicts or makes you ponder a little bit, like, is this going to fit my life and my business and not just my business? Like, what's the analysis that you go through when that happens? Because I know it happens.
It definitely does happen. And there are some things where I'll now, again, at this point in it, I'll make a compromise. Like, for example, we don't normally do demos anymore because I've had a store for 15 years. So everything's sort of in store and, between the manpower also, but I have a friend from college and she's like head of this boating club, whatever. And she's like, they're having like a health night. She said 2 speakers from the local store, et cetera, et cetera. And she's like, you'd be the only vendor. Would you set up? Okay. It was
Yeah.
like shooting fish in a barrel because of the 28 women that were there, I dare say 22 of them purchased something, and because again, it wasn't like a vendor event. And I was saying to myself, I've been driving home with cash in my pocket,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I almost said no. And a few of
Yeah.
those women for sure have ordered again because we had started talking and I remembered their name. Like I went back one more time for another thing that she did. And it's funny because I was one of 3 vendors and I still did okay, but it wasn't like that night. So I said, okay, so now I'll pick and choose. Kind of like it's, and like, I don't have to stand there with 100 other people. It's just not, I'd rather have the time. But on
Right.
the other hand, it's a way to introduce myself, so I kind of just said probably to something else that's coming up in October. And I was like, you know what, that could really work out. And I started cardio boxing at this place called Rumble. And they do, only if you're a member, you can set up a table for a couple hours. And I'm like, you know
Oh,
what?
that's so incredible.
In
So,
my town, well, 3 of the people that took that class, and I wouldn't have known it,
yeah.
are already customers of mine. Oh my God, you have that store in Farmingdale. Okay. So I'll hit, something that I go back to from 20 years ago. It's kind of cool to be able to still do it now, but
Isn't it?
literally like 3 times a year, maybe 4, completely only if I want to.
Completely on your terms. But here's what I heard when you described going to that event. Number one, you had an option, which maybe 20 years ago, maybe we didn't, or maybe it was harder to say no. And we
Yeah.
all kind of get that because things evolve. But
Yeah.
when you considered that opportunity, like I'm hearing so many things, like number one, you're the only vendor. That's a good business thing. It's also a good relationship thing because it would give you opportunities to meet people, get more people on your email list. Plus, you were being with a friend. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing was surrounding by helping a friend. You scratch my back because you got to have fun with your friend. So you knew that your friend was going to be inviting people probably like her. So even more fun.
Yeah. Good
Like
point.
selling, meeting new people, having fun, money in your pocket, a full heart. Like again, I say like that, and you created it yourself to match what you wanted in your life. Like,
Yeah.
I just find that
I, I
fascinating and
pinch myself
extremely
sometimes.
exciting.
I really do. Sometimes I'm like, I still can't believe that I get to do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's still
yeah.
like,
Still love it. Yeah,
a
after
lot of
all
people
these,
say, oh,
after
do you want to do it?
decades, you still love it. So
I
tell us a
still
little
love
bit,
it.
Roberta, about what do you do to like what's a typical day like for you? And I know they're all different. Like there's a show day, there's a retail store open day, but generally speaking, what's a typical day like for you where you incorporate your life and your business together?
So I'm very lucky in that I have my best friend after my sister Michelle had passed. My best friend Wendy came to work with me. She had helped us throughout starting, so she kind of had a good idea. And then she came in to work with me full time. So it's just the 2 of us full time, and then we've got some part time high school girls or college girls that'll come and help us as well. But it's pretty much the 2 of us. So what I recognize, number one, the town that I'm in is very much a restaurant bar town, absolutely some retail stores, but more of that. It's the cutest town, Farmingdale, New York. And so I decided, like, first when we opened, we were, open at 9:30 and closed at 7. And like, okay, 2 people would walk in, maybe one person, and so a few weeks of that were like, you know what? At 6 o'clock, they're going out for dinner. So same thing that happened, because she was like willing to work because I think her husband works on the weekends. To Sundays were like dead except for like noon till 1:30. I'm like, that's not worth it. So switched around all our hours. And so Sundays were closed. Mondays and Fridays, we open at 11 and close at 5. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 6. And Saturdays, we don't even open till noon because everyone's doing whatever they brunch or whatever. And then they'll stroll in. So 12 to 5. So the hours are so structured to actual life. So because most of the time, like I'm there alone on Mondays, she's there alone on Saturdays, unless we have parties or something, then we'll have a girl helper or I'll come in occasionally. And so the other days, this is the best part. I don't have to be there till she's leaving at 4. So if I need to see my mom, go visit, a friend of mine in Connecticut for lunch and still be back in time, go babysit for my grandsons, go exercise, go do anything.
Yeah.
As long as I'm back by 4, it doesn't count as a day that, I gave her like a day off for me and where she's covering. Other times, like I joined this golf club. And so Thursdays, instead of Wendy opening, I open, and then she comes in at 1. So she's closing at 6 and I can leave anytime I want. So normally
it sounds very much like this business is flexible enough to accommodate
so much
whatever.
So that I can still do all my exercise, all my errands, all my babysitting, all my mother sitting, all my, you know what I mean? And still be there to take care of. This is the cool thing. Admittedly, this thing, if I'm able to, answer emails, check on my website, do something that I need to take care of, answer stuff, post a social media, but whatever it is, check on something. If someone's like, I ordered 4 days ago and my package is not here yet. Okay, let me check. I can do that on the run. I could do that from my bed at 6:30 in the morning when I'm reading the news.
Because you set it up that way.
Yes.
Like you set it up that way. And I'm so glad that you're mentioning this because so often, like for a retail store, online, if you have a retail store online, it's open 24/7. But a retail store that's physical is different because you have to have some level of consistency, predictability somehow. And I know this because when I first had my retail store, I would just close and go to the movies with my boyfriend. And I realized I didn't need to have a retail store. But anyway, again, that's also an example of this is not going to fit my life.
Right.
So I need to not do this. But what you just described was your ability to shift and maneuver so that the business continues to thrive, but it also serves you and your life purposes, as every business should, especially for the CEO, the founder. Like you are the founder and the CEO, and you still work the business because you love it.
It prevents
right?
burnout, right? It prevents, that's why I believe that I'm still in love with my business. Is that it, if I was,
because you made it, like you made it. I love that. Yeah.
I admit, look, I'm very lucky in that I have a husband who's super great about paying the big bills. So, I don't have to worry about, some of the giant ones. But on the flip side, I'm the investor, I'm the saver, I'm the, you know what I mean? So I can put my money there. But if I have a quieter week, I make sure my staff gets paid and then I'll pay myself next week. Or I'll take something in product, or you know what I mean? Like, so I do have a little bit of extra flexibility, but it's, I still pinch myself. I still
me
can't
too.
believe that I get to earn money and do something that
you
people
enjoy.
walk in, and they leave feeling better than when they walked in. That I get to sort of cater to the very best parts of my customers.
Yes.
And that is a gift beyond.
Yes. And they come back as a result. So what are some of the challenges associated with, like some of the biggest challenges associated with being an entrepreneur who is at least as concerned about maintaining a certain lifestyle as they are about making a certain amount of money? What are some of the challenges? Because traditional entrepreneurship is hire a bunch of people, grow, take out a loan, have 1 million employees, and be all on the cover of a magazine. And we've seen that. Have we not seen that? And they drive themselves straight into a wall. Yeah. And I've seen this too. Like the next thing you know, there's a post on TikTok that says we're closing everything at 75% off. And there's reasons why that happened that have nothing to do with what we're talking about, but oftentimes it's because you built the wrong business and it doesn't fit your life. Like you've seen that a million times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you could share maybe experiences that you've observed by that, like that, of course, without mentioning any names, but also what are some of the big challenges for you as well?
So that's a great question. So yes, I have watched people take money and then have expectations, grow too fast. Certain things happen, and a business that they loved, and and then on the flip side, I have a friend who, watching her, grow in just these beautiful increments and
Yeah.
build this, multi-million dollar business. I'm pretty sure right now, it's just in this smart, tight, you're like, but she's
Yes.
also in her 40s. Me, I'm 64. So I'm like, so we giggle when a few of us will get together, we'll have these conversations. We're like, all right, well, or I'll be filling out one of those, magazine things that I'm included in or whatever. And they're like, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I go, I don't know, rinse and repeat, like on a African safari or something, like, it's where, so I don't need to grow any bigger. Even if it's considered treading water, I don't care. But because I get the biggest kick out of watching the ones that are coming up, growing, and I'm happy to share anything that I know about it. I understand as I'm watching some of my friends paring down, going into different, like, sort of lifestyle directions, or only doing wholesale, not wanting to do the events anymore, or,
Right.
so we laugh about that because it's so freeing to recognize that it's like after you've lost a whole bunch of weight and you finally go on maintenance. It's like, I don't have to lose weight anymore, so to speak. I have to go on maintenance. And so that, for me, it means that I can cater to, not only, as I mentioned before, the best of my customers, their personalities, what their needs are, but I can cater to the best of my customers. I can really hone in to my tribe, my people. I don't have to waste extra time doing, finding throwing spattle, what's the right word, throwing things on the wall and hoping that some of it, sticks, and like that kind of stuff. I don't have to seek out superfluous customers when my loyal customers keep coming back and back and bring people. So I don't care if it's one at a time or two at a time. That's okay, because it's the better type for me of customer.
Yeah. So I love what you're saying about your friend at a different stage of life. Like she's building a business for that stage in her life. Maybe
Yeah.
she'll always want that. Maybe she won't. But the point is that she gets to change it when she wants to change it. So that is such a great thing to mention. So what have been some of the boulders, like, I don't mean challenges, I mean like boulders that have come into your life in 20 years, 25 years? There are boulders, but the business has continued to press forward. And that's something that not everyone can do. Like a boulder hit me, so now it also hits my business, which is the case. But what have been some of the boulders that have hit that you've had to work through and do extra effort to keep the business accommodating your life as the boulders come in? Because life be lifing, right?
Life be life. And so, yeah, first big boulder was moving out of my house and listening to my CPA husband being, what? What? We can't afford this. What are you talking about? What do you mean taking rent? What do you mean it's first and second? What do you mean? I thought this was a hobby. Yeah. So first that, and then moving to the next store, and then moving to, and God bless my late brother-in-law, who was like, something, she's got something going on here. And I think that this is the right lease for her. And I was like, oh, Stuart, I could kiss you.
I love
So
it.
my own husband, who, we laugh, it's been a long time since he hasn't, thrown that man, but in the beginning, when, how you're taking money out of your pocket left and right in the beginning. And he's like, I don't remember I signed on to this. I'm like, well, you did when you married me. So that was definitely a boulder,
You're
which
in
he
for a big
absolutely,
adventure,
but
baby.
look,
Welcome
you
to
know
the
what? I got to
party.
give him a big shout out. He's a CPA. He has done all my bookkeeping, all my work for free. And so, like, that was a humongous savings. And so, like, that, I'm teasing, but it was challenged, well, how come you're doing this and this? And, because the first 2 years I still had another job. And he's like, but why are you doing all this? And so that, but obviously the biggest one, some people know, some people don't, is that my late sister, Michelle, passed. It's crazy. It's 9.5 years already. And she and I, it's interesting, our skill set, we were both people person. We were both sort of creative people. I had a little bit more of a business sense. She had more of a retail sense. But like Wendy, when she came in, she really, hit the business aspect of it. But when my sister passed, I could still run the business, but so much of the life behind the business and that creative aspect of retail, it was her idea when to start the make your own Scrubz parties, which to this minute I hear her saying I told you so with every party that we do. Literally I hear her. So that was just, I
That's
mean,
a
and every,
boulder.
she was my best
Yeah.
friend. She was my sister. She was my business buddy. She was my, crazy creative. So that was without a doubt the most difficult thing. But
And
having
those are
said
two
that,
boulders that people can relate to as well. Like we all have, maybe have a partner who thinks they're getting into this, and then a couple of years later, it's like, oh, I think I want to like tear the backyard apart and put a garden in. But what you're describing, and thankfully, your husband has been so supportive, even when he was questioning. It sounds like he was questioning in a logical way, like not trying to smack you around in terms of what your new ideas
no,
were. But
no, no.
yeah. So, and then I'm so
No, he's just a
sorry.
pragmatic money guy. So he's like,
Yes. Well, I mean, we need those. We
yes,
need the pragmatic money guy. Otherwise, swiping all day. Because especially now with social media, it's so easy to just buy all day long. Yeah, pull me back. And I'm sorry again. I just want to express again condolences on the passing of your sister, which I know was a long time ago, but that kind of grief just it stays with us for the rest of our lives. But
I'm a
it's
little,
you still hear her talk.
my girl.
Look at that. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Staring me in the face every time I say everywhere. But that, you know
Wonderful.
what? It did teach me, honestly. I mean, obviously, I wish I could bring her back.
Yes.
But I'm of the ilk, first of all, that you can have the kind of grief that you have, that I had, without having the love and without having that, absolute unbelievable, and that's anybody going through any kind of grief. I've had this conversation with so many people. I've had a lot of loss in my life. And
And what do they say? I've heard grief is love with nowhere to go.
I love that. I like,
That, yeah.
and it's also, I know Andrew Garfield, the actor, had said something about his dad once about that he lives within the grief because he said it keeps my dad alive for me. And I'm like, you know what? I love that too. But what it also did is, it sounds so crazy, but it empowered me to live an even better life as best my ability, because I'm sort of living for her and like look what we get to do. And I'm always wearing something of hers when I travel, and I'll sort of like hold, whether it's a watch or something, purse, I'll be like, oh my God, look what we did today. And so it's allowing me to jump out of airplanes, finally do stuff like that, that I'm like, I can do this. And then when other problems arise in my life and or business, you're like, already been through the worst. So this is just a blip.
So
This
you
is just
can
a
you can handle
problem
it.
to be solved. Yeah. So
Wow. Thank you
when you've
so much for
already
sharing
gone
that. And it
through
gives
the
people
worst.
hope to know that you can have a loss and still have a great life. Eventually, if you live long enough, you learn that. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing. So, Roberta, how do you market your business? Like you have a retail store and you have an online website. Do you still have wholesale customers as well?
I do. Not as many as I used to, but I have like
Uh-huh.
3 or 4, yeah, that have been
So you and
consistent.
you also have events in your store. So you have like four separate streams feeding into your business, and they aren't all marketed the same way. I'm assuming. Can you give us an idea of how you go about marketing the different products and services
So,
that you offer?
funny you say that, because email was the one you said right from the get-go, and I am incredibly consistent. In fact, I laugh because after we have our birthday sale in the end of June, and so for the week or two before or dead, everyone's waiting for it. And for the month after, July is quiet month anyway, but everyone who really are loyal, they're shocked. So I have like this period. So I have literally done my whole calendar for emails for the year. I'm working on 27.
And it's
So
the
what
summer. It's the
uh,
summer. So
it's
we
exactly
want everyone who's listening to see how important this is. Like, this is an entrepreneur who's been in business for 25 or more years, who says that email, that's her first answer, is email. Like, take
100%.
note, everybody.
Well, you had said, I am not blowing smoke here to everyone listening. Donna Maria, without a shadow of doubt in my mind, made my business better, made my lifestyle within my business better, because you said those two things. It was the lifestyle aspect and it was the email. And you said, because when social, you're building a foundation on someone else's property, or you're building a house on someone else's foundation. Email, you can move it from, MailChimp to Klaviyo or whatever, but it's your list. They gave you permission to reach them. And so they want to, and sometimes I always wonder, like, is everyone hearing me? And I did a one 2 weeks ago, and the woman happens to be a licensed reflexologist. I mean, it was just so weird timing that I got a new private label customer who's doing like toe rings. And she had said something, and so I'm making a couple of products for her. And then this woman emails me back on a email I had sent about our foot scrub. And she's like, would you ever consider, long story short, September 24th at my store, we're having, a self-reflexology lesson using our Bumps cream. And the person who sells the toe rings is setting up a little pop-up shop. And, and it was like, so this woman, Donna, says to me, I love your emails. She says, I get a kick out of them. They're informative. She says, reading that one on the foot scrub empowered me to email you. It was so cute. I'm like, thank you. I said, sometimes I feel like I'm clicking into the void. But when you get that, when I ran a contest for the 6 months leading up to our birthday, or 20th in Scrubz, it was, oh my God, I get back email like enter me. So I'm like, they are listening. They are seeing it.
Yeah.
A social media post, they're fun. I'll get, if I put if my mom or my grandsons, I get lots of likes, but a basic post, it's just a couple because they're being bombarded. But an email.
Well, and they're also being encouraged to leave your post, right? Because the first thing is someone stop the scroll. And the second thing is, once they interact with that post, the algorithm is going to send them your competitors because it knows they like what you just said. So they're going to send more people saying the same thing. So if you don't get them off of social media and into the space where you are, one person described it, one of our members said, it's like reciting poetry in Grand Central Station.
Oh, I
That's how
love
she
that.
described it. Isn't that a good descriptor?
Love that. So hands down, email is my number one marketing. Second thing, because I do have a store, I'm a visible space. I've got, the old fashioned flyer in the window. I can't tell you how many we get. And so that brings people in for some of the events that we host. But the parties, I am the queen of free publicity. I even wrote a book, How to Get Free Publicity.
That's right. We're going to
So
tell everybody about that book
I'm
too,
telling you.
because
So,
you do a lot of PR about whatever has to do with the PR or the magazine's question, and you've driven multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in business by using that as a marketing strategy,
and
right?
not paying a penny for it except my time. So we advertise for free in like longisland.com. That brings people in for the walk-in, make your own scrub, and or for the parties. My biggest advertising expense, you'll laugh, is Girl Scout magazine, because it sits with people for 6 months. It's like, I don't know, $500. I get listed in all of the groups, from the lower ages up to the higher ages. And we do it. And so the Girl Scout parties then feed the birthday parties, which then feed the ladies' nights. So the only advertising I do for our parties is the free one and the Girl Scout magazine.
And look how
like
targeted this is. And this,
Yes.
I want to make this point to everyone too, and ask you to comment on it, because so often we look for a roadmap. We look for, what did she do? What did he do? And I'm going to do that and I'm going to get the same result. That is not true. Like, if listen, like whoever's looking at me right now, If you go get an ad in Girl Scout magazine, may or may not work. But what you're describing is it fits, like everything fits. The ad fits your business, fits your lifestyle.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
parties fit your business, fit your lifestyle. Like all of that, if there's not a direct connection of satisfaction between the business and yourself personally, what do you think you end up with besides money, which is nice? Money is nice. But how
Right.
many people have you seen, Roberta, that have a decent business that they don't like to run?
Good point. Yeah.
Because it's almost it's like having the job that every 2 weeks the checks don't bounce, but your heart is like, oh, how much longer can I do
Mm.
this? Maybe I'd rather live under a bridge. I don't know, but probably
Well,
not.
even just if it's not a big thing, like even if it is just hobby money while you're honing it, we were just with people a few weeks ago where one person, he's thrilled. He started his own thing now, but he lost his job. And the other one is hearing sort of like he's been looking because he's hearing, the sound bites of people that are working there. And my husband has his own business and
Uh-huh.
I have mine. And as we're driving home, I'm like, it's so nice to not have to worry that anyone is going to fire you. It's so nice to
Yes,
know that if you want to make more money, you can.
man.
You just have to figure out the strategy at that particular point. So I'm telling you, when Michelle, comes in with bags of stuff from Marshall's, like platters and stuff, and we're going to do parties. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, we're a skincare business, like I want to be giant, be in Whole Foods and all these, and she's like, yeah, but don't you remember how much money we used to spend on our kids' birthday parties? I'm like,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
point.
Well,
And
that's so interesting in business today too, is that in almost every business I work with and know, the products are almost secondary. You have to give people some sort of experience, even if you have an online business only. And it's not that hard to do it today. So tell us a little bit about what you recommend that people think about. Like the products, yes, you have to sell them to make money, but without the experience, the sale doesn't happen, or the promise of an experience, right? The sale just doesn't happen, or at least not repeat sales, which is what we all need to grow a business.
well, I think that also comes with, you've had many discussions about it. I've read some incredible, I'm a big fan of Ash Amberger about marketing that you barely talk about the product. What you do is you talk about what that product is going to make that other person feel like. How is it going to change their life? It's not about, like I'll say certain things, my sort of Goldilocks story of figuring it out and trying from every bottle, that is my brand story, but it's always about how the customers come in and certain things. And, I always say that I'd rather sell them what they need as opposed to what I think they want, because it's about them. It's always about them. At the end of the day, it's always going to be about them. And I had this conversation with another person who's she's in a stationery business, and she was a little frustrated, and she was debating if she should consider going bigger, like trying to bring her line to something bigger. And I'm kind of like, it's up to you. I can't tell you what to do. But I think what's happening is there's the Amazons of the world and there's the us. And it's the in-betweens that are getting swallowed a little bit because, it's just too easy. I admit it. That's me. I don't shop at the malls anymore. I don't shop at the department stores anymore. Anything. It's Amazon or those cute little shops that I freaking love. There is no in between. So I think so I'm doubling down on the one-on-one experience. I'm doubling down on the
Yes.
kindness and the experience, like you just said, that aspect of it. I don't think personally, at least not in my experience, I don't think it's going anywhere. Because,
Nope.
I sell a product that, it's like, who said it? Was it Coco Chanel? Something about that everyone wants a lipstick, or Estee Lauder. Somebody said it, that even in the worst of times. So, I know people are struggling now, and I know, and you know, I'm not the $70 scrub, but I'm also not the $10 scrub. And so they have to make a conscious choice to spend their money at my place. And, and that for me deserves for them to get the experience along with the jar and the
The
verbiage that I
experience along
use.
with the jar. Like, okay, that's like quotable. Like that's like there's a book title in there. And speaking of books, Tell us a little bit about your book, and then I want to ask you about your product. So you have a book about how to get free publicity for your
Yes.
business. We're going to make sure we include a link to that in the show
Oh,
notes
thank
and so
you.
forth.
So
Because yeah,
it started with me using, they're called the query services. And it was Harrow. I mean, there's such a long, I laugh. It was Harrow, and then it was bought and blah, blah, blah. And the guy who started it, Peter Shankman, started his own. I'll just say Harrow, help a reporter out. So it's helpareporter.com. SOS is source of sources. So sourceofsources.com. There's quoted, QWOTED, and there's connectivity. So there is one more that I know that was featured, bought Harrow.
featured. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So
Thank you
those are
for
the
sharing
big
those
ones, okay?
resources.
But the ones I use the most is the SOS and the Harrow. And what
Okay.
happens is that you sign up for these services, and reporters and writers, they need your soundbite and words as much as you need for them to write about you. So once Harrow, I believe, is twice a day. Occasionally it's 3 times a day. And same thing with sources. I get the quoted things. Sometimes I'll even get something like, oh, I remember you've answered blah, 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 from the head of quoted, try and do this one. I
And
don't
these come
pull.
via email, right? They're
So
like
they all
PR
come via email.
opportunities and
There are
queries by
yep,
email.
there are paid ones. Personally, I have never paid, not even once. And so if it looks like a good fit, and it doesn't have to specifically be about skincare, it could be about small business, it could be about challenges, it could be about growth, it could be about the economy, it could be about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which you know what I mean? It could be about things that you feel that you've got the knowledge about. And you answer, you basically like, hi, my name is blah, blah, I have a good bio written. And you answered like you don't hedge, oh, contact me and, I'll give you the information. Boop, delete. It's, hi, my experience has been to, this and this and this and this. And for the holidays, instead of doing a regular, Black Friday, we've done a buy one, get one free the week before. And it's incredible how and so like I will give the information. And, I'm not saying everyone's picked up, but when they pick you up, they send you a link going, thanks for your information. And then all of a sudden there's a hyperlink out there. Then I take that article and I stick it mine. So now I've got an outbound link on my website. So it's all that little fun SEO stuff. And more importantly, it allows you to have credibility so that you can be quoted, you can, and it's, I'm not just out there to sell, I'm out there to educate. And so when these answers are picked up in these free publications that are mostly evergreen, like I'll check every few months and occasionally the links are dead, but most of them are evergreen. It's just this continual reminder to someone that you are the expert
Yeah.
in your business.
Yeah. And I love what you said about I'm not here just to sell, I'm here to educate. And honestly, everyone, like write that down and put it on the top of your laptop monitor, because it is so true. If you don't educate, they won't buy because you're not helping. They can get everything we offer in a million different places.
That's right.
So if we're not the experts and the trusted source for it, the sales won't come. The sales opportunities won't come anyway. So we're going to post a link, by the way, in the show notes to Roberta's publicity page. And you're going to be scrolling for a bit, so get ready. But the point is to allow you to see this is a marketing strategy. It's not the right one for everyone, but what she's been is consistent.
Yes.
She's found the marketing strategy that works with her business, that works with her life, just like this is what we do.
Some people
So,
it is social media, but that was
yeah,
I sort of came into it and I do it, but then at
yeah,
one point I was hacked and I lost my 3,000 followers and now
I
it's like
remember that.
500. And you know
Yes.
what? If I didn't have email to tell everyone, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, guess what? I was hacked. I lost my account.
Yeah.
I would have been lost.
That is such a good point to make. And let's just reiterate that for a second, because one day, like it was a social media outlet. Well, let's just say it was Meta, it was Facebook.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just shut you
And
down.
Instagram and right, my business page, or I
Right.
should say my
No
personal page
explanation.
and Instagram, they got
Yeah.
hacked and they claimed, even though I gave them proof, that they couldn't decide if I was the real person or the hacker pretending.
Yeah.
And so they
Yeah.
absolutely would not let me reinstate. Luckily, my
No
business
problem.
page My social media person at the time was my niece. I wound up taking it over, but anyway, she had access to her email. So I was
Yeah.
still able to get into, but I left. Then I added my husband. So every post that I post on Facebook is like Ross Perry says, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
I know
because
your husband's name is
I'm
Ross.
like,
So she would come
whatever,
in and she would be like, this is Roberta posting from my husband's account. But that is such a good point
And
because
so I
you
started
didn't
a
miss
new
a beat.
Instagram and I wasn't going to go through the like and the this and the like what we did in the beginning. I'm getting all those likes. It doesn't even work anymore. So I did it organically. But at one point I had more reach or so I thought, and I was just like, forget it. And
Well,
so I
I
will
think the
post.
social media outlets make us think that likes matter. Like they make us think, like they give us these insights. Like you posted 100 times yesterday, and now your insight, like you got a lot of views. Well, of course I did, because you're going to reward me for coming onto your platform for 1 million hours a day. But that may not serve my purposes.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we are using social media and not just letting social media use us. And that is a
Yeah.
whole another conversation.
And
But
that's
let's
exactly
see.
where the email saved me. So I could let everybody know
Yes.
and tell them the new account, yeah, I'll still post
Yep.
there, but this is where you find me.
Yep. Don't even have to get on it anymore. So I want everybody as we close out to see my favorite Scrubs product. You
So,
guys,
okay.
if
So
you
this
guys
is
need
the
this.
scrub. So
Okay.
this is where it all started.
Okay.
Let's see where it's blurry. I'm in like this. Oh, here we go.
That's better. Yes. Yes.
But Donna Maria is a big fan of the lotion. So our whole thing is just botanical oils. And so this is botanical oils and shea butter only.
And
And the
this is
scrub,
a thick
it,
moisturizer
yes.
that feels so good on your skin, and the bottle lasts 100 years.
You gave
And
me
it
a great quote.
smells
You called it a body balm in a jar, in a
That's
bottle.
what it is. It's a body butter in a jar because it's liquid. And my favorite scent, just because I know you all want to know, is that cherry almond
Cherry almond
blast.
first. Yeah.
So amazing. So Scrubz, spelled with a Z, body.com. That's where we want to go. So let's close out with this question, Roberta. We've talked about enjoying your life, building your business. So tell us, after a couple decades in business, do you now have your way?
Oh my gosh, 100%. I have my way. I have my lifestyle. I have my business. I have the friends. I can't even begin to say, money is definitely something,
Yeah.
but the friendships, the relationships, the growth, the knowledge, the aspirations fulfilled, the holy crap, I could do this. The you know what I mean? It's that's all wrapped into the fact that I listened to you and I built my business around my lifestyle. And so I've got trips planned, same thing. I'll juggle with Wendy. She'll cover me. She takes 2 weeks off and I'll cover her. And, it's just, and worst comes to worst, I don't show up that day at work. The store gets closed and I put a little note out that says, sorry, had a little
You don't
family
show
something
up
or
one
whatever.
day?
You know what I mean? Like if shit, like if this was, I don't know, 2 years ago, whatever. And I was on vacation and I was, and I think there was something at the funeral, whatever. I was like, what are you kidding? You have to go. I said, just put a note on the door. And we just didn't open that day. Yeah. I mean, to have that ability to
Yeah.
wrap it, I just,
Call it off. Just
I
call it
pinch
off.
myself. In a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Changing your day to accommodate your life and still have a business and be able to feed yourself in the way that makes you happy and fulfilled. All those words you just mentioned, like, I'm so happy for you, but I'm really happy for people watching and listening to this episode, because Roberta is an example of having your way and how making a business fit your life can deliver that if you're consistent over time. Roberta, thank you so much for sharing. So,
Thank
our final
you.
words of encouragement for entrepreneurs today. What is yours?
Believe in yourself, honestly. There's going to be so many naysayers out there that are just going to throw, nonsense at you. And I believe it's their own insecurity and their own jealousy. And so if you believe in you, you are 50% of the game right
Yes.
there.
And can I add something to that? Having a business is going to help you believe in yourself.
That too. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's one of the things it does is
It's
it
the
builds
I can do this. However big or small, I'm saying this client that I got recently, and she's like, I can't believe I'm in my 40s. I'm like, how old do you think I was when I started Scrubz? Like, starting a business now it's like you had the wisdom.
The best time.
It's the
best time. I was in my late 30s. I think I was 38, maybe 37.
Never best too young, never too old. And
no, you're not.
100%.
Right. Someone asked the other day in some group I'm in, am I too old to do something? I didn't even read the question. I was like, well, if you think you are, yeah, you're too old.
Boom.
Yeah. Okay. So this was amazing. All right. Listen, everybody, I want you to go to Scrubz Body, SCRUBZ body.com. Check out that press page, read the story, look at the pictures, follow on Instagram, and subscribe to that newsletter. And if you're in her area, go visit the store. Go road trip. Like, I've been trying to plan one for a couple of years and I'm still working on it. So Roberta, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to have you. Scrubzbodyeveryone.com, and we'll catch you the next time. In the meantime, enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way. Bye, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Subscribe now to Indie Business Lifestyle so you don't miss an episode. And don't forget to visit indiebusinessnetwork.com to learn more about our community for creative artisan entrepreneurs and product makers who want to build your best business and live your best life without sacrificing either. You can learn more, apply to join us, or refer your creative entrepreneurial friends to us for the support they need to grow and lead well. We have events coming up live and in person and online that are creating new possibilities and collaborations for small business owners across the nation. That's indiebusinessnetwork.com. I'll see you on the next episode. In the meantime, enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way.